I am your instructor here to travel with you throughout this wonderful journey on cryptography and network security. Let's see the prerequisites now. It is expected to have some fundamental knowledge on computer networking in order to progress with the subject cryptography and network security. Also, we are going to deal with a lot of algorithms that are basically involving mathematical stuff. So it is expected to have some mathematical background before progressing this subject. No worries guys, anyway I will be providing the basics first and then progressing with the advanced topics. But still, if you possess the basic computer networking and mathematical skills, it will be easy for you to understand things easier. Let's now see the target audience of this course. This course is mainly for the undergraduate students, and this course is also for the academic and professional audiences. Not only them, it is also for the aspirants who want to crack the competitive examinations and GATE examinations. And finally, if you are an ethical hacker, or if you are a cybersecurity aspirant, or if you are a cyber forensic aspirant, if you are working as an IT or a network administrator, this course will certainly help you to understand the basic and the underlying fundamentals. Why waiting? Let's now move on to the syllabus. Talking about the syllabus, this subject is going to contain 7 chapters. Chapter number 1 is Introduction to Cryptography. Chapter number 2, we will be dealing about the mathematical background, where we are going to see abstract algebra and the number theory concepts. In chapter 3, we are going to see the block ciphers. Chapter 4 is going to deal with the public key cryptography. Chapter 5, we are going to see cryptographic hash functions and digital signatures. In Chapter 6, we are going to see security practices and system security. And finally, in Chapter 7, we are going to focus on the email security, IP security, and web security. Let's start the first lecture, the introduction. Before we step into the topic, we will see the outcomes first. Upon the completion of this session, the learner will be able to Outcome number 1, we will understand the need for network security with a real world scenario. And outcome number 2, we will know various intentions of attacker. Let's dive into the need for network security. The internet, undeniably an inevitable entity of this contemporary world. We have both good guys and bad guys on the internet. I mean, good guys are legitimate people, bad guys are attackers and hackers. If you want to carry out any job on the internet, obviously the data should come out of your device first, whether you work with your laptop or you work with your mobile phone, whatsoever. But still, the data must come out of the device. Once the data comes out of the device, it is obviously not in our hands. We don't know where the data is going to be flowing. We are ultimately relying on the internet to have a sophisticated living style. But as mentioned, we have both good guys and bad guys. We don't know what the bad guys are going to do with the data that we are sending. So we need to understand why security is important. In order to understand why do we need network security, we will take an example. Say you are working in this computer and you are going to do some financial transaction with nesobank.com. It means you are having an account with nesobank.com and you are going to do some fund transfer, for example. Obviously, we are relying on the internet to accomplish this task. The internet is a public network which contains all kinds of people. If you are a legitimate user, you cannot expect everyone to be legitimate as like you, because we have attackers in the real world scenario. What the attacker is going to do on the internet? The attacker only can answer this question. Attackers may steal data, they may steal infrastructure, they may steal reputation, they may seek ransoms, they do denial of service, they steal, they exploit data, and many more. Only attacker can know for what purpose he is launching an attack. So there are many goals and intentions for an attacker on the internet. We all agree attacking needs intelligence and attackers are intelligent people. But it's waste to blame the attackers, because we should focus more on protecting our data and protecting our infrastructure, protecting our network, protecting our entire system from attacks. Attackers' intention will be always launching attacks, but we need to prevent that attack, we need to protect our network so that we can be safe. We should not be a victim of any such attacks. So what we need to do is we need to protect our data. But unfortunately, once the data leaves our computer system, it is not in our hands. So what we need to do? We need to ensure that the data is not going to the wrong hands. At the same time, if the data is going to the wrong hands, they should not be able to know what it is. I will place things in a simpler way. Contemplate you have an account with Nesobank and you want to do some fund transfer to your friend, and obviously you are going to carry out this task over internet banking option. When we talk about internet banking as an option, obviously this fund transfer is going to take place on the internet, and this internet contains all kinds of people, and attackers are also there on the internet. Your friend is also there on the internet. You are also there on the internet. So we need to be very careful enough in order to do this fund transfer. Fortunately, we believe the bank is offering a lot of security measures so that we can effectively do the fund transfer. Not only effectively, but safely. Let's come to the fund transfer example. This fund transfer is going to be performed online. So this may be using the internet banking, or you can transfer your fund to your friend over the app which is provided to you by the bank. Anyhow, the internet is involved. During this online transfer, we are going to give our confidential information like our passwords, maybe our PIN numbers or any other confidential information. Just imagine if they are sent on the internet just like we send. I mean, there is no encryption provided to the data. Say for example, if your password is hello123, and if this hello123 is sent as such on the internet, and if this attacker steals that information, later he can initiate a new transaction like you. Because password is one of the important elements to access your account. This attacker may initiate a new transaction like you. Not only that, the attackers may sniff our conversation, they steal our confidential information, and they can even impersonate us. After stealing our confidential information, they may even initiate a new transaction, pretending that the transaction is from the legitimate person. Not only this, let's assume an attacker has created a bogus server here. This bogus server is like pretending the original banking server. Say for example, the original banking server name is www.nesobank.com. Let's assume this attacker is placing a bogus server on the internet, and what this attacker is going to do is, he is going to advertise this bogus server in the name of nesobank.com. Let's say you are receiving this email which is advertised by this attacker, and you see the hyperlink is having the title www.nesobank.com. And what if you click on it? It will not be going to nesobank.com. Rather, it will be going to this bogus server. What if you start giving your confidential information to that? Gone. It is not being captured by nesobank.com server, which is the legitimate server. Rather, it is being captured by the bogus server. It is actually going to the attacker. The attack what I mentioned here is an example of phishing attack. So don't worry about the terms phishing attack or any other attacks if I mention. We are going to demystify a lot of attacks in this subject. But anyway, we need to be very careful about these attacks. Because as computer professionals, we should not be a victim of any such attacks. Before we blame, we should protect ourselves first. Always remember, prevention is better than cure. There are lots and lots of attacks launched on the internet every day. And we need to protect ourselves and we need to protect our data from attackers. And not only protecting the data from attackers, protecting our computer, our data, our infrastructure, our network from attackers is very important. One more thing is equally important is that protecting the same from malicious softwares like Trojans, viruses, worms, spywares, adwares, rootkits, ransomwares, keyloggers, and other malicious softwares. So what I mean to say from this is that security is not only needed in our personal life but also in our computer life. So security is undeniably a must for any aspects that we deal with. Just think of this, you have a valuable with you, whether you go out of your home or you have the valuable with you, obviously you will be taking the utmost security level in order to protect that valuable, right? Likewise, when we talk about the data also, we need to ensure that the data is protected, the computer is protected, the network is protected. We can't expect the internet to be protected because internet is not managed by a single administrative domain. Internet is a public network, but we need to protect ourselves, our organization, our data, our computer system, our infrastructure, and everything that should be protected must be protected. And that's it, guys. I hope now you understood the need for network security with a real world scenario, and we also have seen various intentions and goals of attackers.